What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. We appreciate you joining us. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand. Daniel, the Dodgers have a huge, glaring question, something they got to address, and it is around one of their pitchers, Noah Syndergaard. I'm just going to get right into it, Daniel. What are the Dodgers supposed to do with a guy who has been struggling mightily in the rotation and honestly doesn't seem to be showing signs of improvement?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation just because as of right now, it's not like you got, all these options just waiting, to be called up or to be activated from the IL or whatever the case may be. So the Dodgers' hands are kind of tied at the moment, but I feel like everyone knows that this Syndergaard experiment is not working. Even he himself admitted it pretty much. We'll get into his comments in a little bit, but it's been rough to watch. I mean, this is a team that has World Series aspirations. We all know that. They're a first place team, best record in the AL. And every fifth day, they're sending out a guy who basically does not give them a chance to win. I mean, you see just yesterday against the Nationals, the offense comes out swinging, puts up 3 runs in the first inning, and then you blink your eyes and that lead is gone. And now you're trailing. So it's clear that it's not working. It's unfortunate. I think both of us, were skeptical at the time of the signing. So it's not like we didn't necessarily see this coming. Maybe we didn't think it'd be, this bad. I think he's been probably one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball so far this season. But we'll get into it. As of now, it's not like you have a guy that could replace him. So you kind of just need to keep trotting him out there until you could get some other guys healthy and then go from there.
Yeah, you make a lot of points, so let's hit those. Let's talk about the numbers. So far this season, 6.54 ERA. He's striking out just 6 batters per 9 with a whip of almost 1.4. If you go back kind of recently, if you ignore the one inning appearance that he made, his last 6 starts, he has allowed 26 earned runs in 29 and a third innings. Over that stretch, 29 and a third innings, he has allowed 40 hits and struck out just 16 batters. You pointed it out. Those are some of the worst numbers in baseball. They're the worst numbers of his career as well. If you ignore 2021, where he made just 2 one-inning appearances, the 6.54 ERA he has on the season is 2.5 runs worse than any other season he's had in his career. He was a sub-4 ERA guy last year, even if the expected ERA maybe wasn't in the same place. StatCast stuff, if you're thinking, well, maybe it's just bad luck, that's not the case. He's in the 6th percentile of expected ERA. So based on batted ball data and that kind of thing, what would they expect your ERA to be if every pitcher had the same amount of luck? 6th percentile for Syndergaard, 9th percentile in strikeout rate and whiff rate. The velocity, 20th percentile in his velocity. He's below the 20th percentile in spin rate. So he's not throwing hard. He's not spinning the baseball. Really, the only thing he's doing well currently is not walking anybody. That's the one elite thing that he has. Everything else is average at best. And when you say, hey, he's one of the worst pitchers, those numbers back it up. He's in the 6th percentile. 94% of pitchers in baseball have a better expected ERA than Syndergaard. So the numbers back it up. You mentioned the quotes. Let's get into this. There were a few different things. And honestly, I appreciate the honesty and vulnerability. I feel bad reading these because we'll be clear. It's not like he's not trying. It's not like he doesn't care. Here were his quotes yesterday. He said, quote, "Trying to make big adjustments between starts isn't easy. I'd give my hypothetical firstborn to be the old me." Again, that's a weird quote, but I get the sentiment. He continued, "I'm still expected to go out there and compete. My changeup is a huge vulnerability." And then he ended with, "It really sucks. Right now, I feel like I'm the only weakest link on the team." Dave Roberts was later asked, will Noah Syndergaard make his next start? He said, "I don't know. The hope is that he does. Right now, I just don't want to answer that question." Let's save the what do the Dodgers do? Just quickly, your response to those quotes from Syndergaard that he's trying to make adjustments. He desperately wants to be the old him. He feels like he's the weakest link. What was your reaction when you read those quotes?
I mean, I couldn't help but feel at least a little bad. Like, I know he's still getting paid a nice chunk of change. So it's not like, it's not like he's necessarily down that bad. But look, it's a tough spot to be in when you're a guy like him who is used to being a successful pitcher. He's dealt with his fair share of injuries, but the old Noah Syndergaard that he said he'd give his theoretical firstborn to get back to, he was a really good pitcher. So being in this current state, can't be a very good feeling. So I know we all feel bad having to watch him pitch, but I couldn't imagine, actually living through that. So I do feel bad for him, but I, I guess for me, like just kind of getting into the why he's been so bad. And you mentioned the expected ERA. I saw a Twitter thread with Mike Petriello yesterday, and he said, the run game isn't even part of like expected ERA. So like the fact that he can't hold runners on probably means his expected ERA should be even worse, because that's obviously been a huge struggle for him. And when you're pitching as bad as he is and you can't hold runners on top of it, it obviously makes it that much worse. And I just think overall, like going back to his quotes, he's not the guy he used to be. Like, I think we're all seeing that the velocity is nowhere close to what it once was. The off-speed stuff, because the velocity is so much lower, doesn't play like it used to. It's not as sharp. So overall, that's just not going to lead to good results, and that's what we've seen.
Yeah, looking at some of the numbers, I mean, his average fastball velocity this season is 92.7. This is a guy who was 99, 100, 98, 98, dating back to 2019, even 94, 94 and a half the last couple of years. So he's 2 miles an hour down from that. He's giving up more fly balls than ever. His ground ball rate is the worst of his career. He's giving up more home runs per fly ball. So do the math on that. He's giving up more fly balls, and more of his fly balls are leaving the yard for home runs. So it's a bad combination. Let's get to the last question here. Dave Roberts asked, is he going to make his next start? He said the hope is that he does. I just don't want to answer that question right now. As I do the digging, it's easy, Daniel, for you and me to sit here and say, this guy's terrible, just DFA him and go another direction. As I dig into that, Daniel, my question is, do the Dodgers have another choice but to stick with Syndergaard? Here's the state of the Dodgers rotation as we sit here today. You've got two starters that I would say you feel good about. Tony Gonsolin and Clayton Kershaw are guys that have pitched well and consistently, and you have a long track record. So you've got two guys you feel good about. There are lots of people that, as I say that, they're like pounding their keyboards about to type in the comments, I feel good about Bobby Miller now as well. I think he's in the next category of you think you feel good about Bobby Miller. Let's remind ourselves he's made just 2 career starts. He has gotten a little bit fortunate in some of those with some ground balls and some double plays and that kind of thing. But Bobby Miller has been good. I'm putting him in the category of I'm not worried about those 3 pitchers right now. The problem is after that, there are a whole bunch of question marks, not just at the number 5 spot in the rotation, actually number 4 as well. Julio Urias is currently injured. He threw a 15-pitch bullpen on Tuesday. Our own Matt Moreno was reporting he's expected to throw from a mound on Saturday, the middle of next week. So about a week from now, he does a 2 to 3 inning simulated game. And then who knows, maybe a rehab start. So you're at least a week and a half away from Julio, meaning you probably need 2 more starts from your number 5 guy before Julio gets back. Dustin May on the 60-day IL isn't even going to pick up a baseball for another 4 to 6 weeks. Ryan Pepio, who is projected to be the number 6 starter coming into the season, he's out past the All-Star break, not throwing yet. So you've got 2 spots in the rotation. One of those is currently going to be filled by Michael Grove, who is expected back on Saturday to join the Dodgers and pitch against the Yankees. He's been fine. He had to wear one, so the ERA isn't pretty, but I would say for the most part this season, he's been serviceable. He's a better option than Noah Syndergaard, I guess, is the camp that I would put Michael Grove in. Then you've got Gavin Stone, the team's number 2 pitching prospect. If we're being honest here and taking off sort of all of our biases, he's actually been worse than Noah Syndergaard has this season. So is that a good option to be determined? You've obviously got Syndergaard, and that's kind of it. At the AAA level, you've got Andre Jackson. You've got a couple veteran guys, Robbie Erlin and Matt Andriese, who have both been really, really bad at AAA. So that's not a great thing. AA, you've got a ton of young arms. Knack, Nastrini, Sheehan, Frasso, Hurt, but none of those guys are on the 40-man roster. All of them are at AA. Some of them are new to AA. So that's a long list of things, but the summary I would leave it with, Daniel, and turn to you is the Dodgers have 2 current openings in their rotation, and I actually think Noah Syndergaard, as bad as he has been, might be the best option for that number 5 spot.
Yeah, I mean, you just broke it down really well right there. I mean, the thing that is important here is you need depth. Like we've seen how many injuries there have been already. And the thing is, you never know when there's going to be another injury. And so ideally, yeah, like you're like Julio's coming back, Michael Grove's coming back. We don't need Syndergaard anymore. Like, let's just DFA him. The problem is you don't have much depth, outside of that. Like the guys who are supposed to be your depth guys, some of them are already in the rotation, like Bobby Miller, Michael Grove. Those at the beginning of the season, those were depth guys. Gavin Stone was a depth guy. he got called up. And like you said, he did not pitch well. Like, he needs some more time in the minors, and they already sent him down, and he's going to get that. So, I think you look at your rotation as we need 5 guys, but the thing is, you never know when there's going to be another injury or whatever the case may be. So I don't think it's just as simple as let's DFA him and move on and go with our other guys, because if those guys get hurt, then you really have no option. So I'm with you. I think, as unfortunate as it is, you need to keep kind of trotting him out there. We'll see how Michael Grove's going to pitch this weekend against the Yankees. We'll see how he looks in that start. Like you said with Julio, he's probably, at least 10 days to 2 weeks away from being back. So we're looking at least 2 more Syndergaard starts. Hopefully he could pitch better. But I'd say before you DFA him, another solution, you could move him to the bullpen for a little bit. You could throw him on the phantom IL, give him a chance to just kind of reset for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then, maybe work on some mechanical stuff. Like he said in those comments, it's not easy to work on your mechanics between starts when you only have a couple days. So I think giving him a few weeks off to reset could be an option, but I don't think it's just as simple as DFA him and the experiment. Let's move on. Like, I don't think you have enough depth in place, unfortunately, to do that right now.
Yeah, if we're talking post All-Star break and Julio is back and Ryan Pepiot is throwing, and you've got a larger sample size with Bobby Miller and with Michael Grove, then I think you could look at a place of like, hey, we've got 7 guys that we feel okay about. We hope Dustin May comes back at some point. Like, that's a different situation. That's just realistically not where the Dodgers are at. And I know there's going to be people that say there's got to be a better option out there. I mean, the guys they have at AAA, like Andriese and Robbie Erlin, those guys have like a 5 ERA at AAA. So I know you think surely there's a better option out there than a 6.5 ERA at the major league level. It's really hard to pitch at the major leagues. If you want to be a pro Syndergaard, he's at least giving you innings. He's at least giving your bullpen somewhat of a break and throwing 5 to 6 innings. So I'll give him credit there. Rapid fire real quick, Daniel. Bobby Miller, I imagine you trust more than Noah Syndergaard right now.
Yeah.
Michael Grove?
They're pretty much even, and I know a lot of people might agree with that. But first of all, Michael Grove's coming back from an injury of his own, so we don't even know. I know they're saying he's going to be called up and make a start this weekend, but we don't know how built up he is. We don't know if he's fully 100%. So we'll see. But I think if you could guarantee me Michael Grove is healthy, then I'd take him over Syndergaard. But there's just so many question marks there as well.
Gavin Stone.
I think I trust Gavin Stone more than Noah Syndergaard, but I also think the most important thing for Gavin Stone right now is his development and him not losing his confidence. We talked about this on the live show on Sunday night. I just think you can't just keep trotting Gavin Stone out there to get rocked. Every outing. I think long term that's not going to do good things for his confidence. So I think my take on that show was that Gavin Stone needs another month or 2 in the minor leagues just to work on, his pitch mix, work on putting guys away, work on his overall command, which he struggled with when he was up here. So for me, I'd say I trust Gavin Stone more than Syndergaard, but for his overall development, it's best for him to be in the minor leagues for, another couple months.
Yeah, him and Grove are interesting because even if you put those 2 and Syndergaard all in the same bucket, you could make a case that it's most valuable for Grove to be getting reps at the major league level and developing. And so if all things are equal, then I'll just take Michael Grove, because even if it's the same or even slightly worse, at least you feel like you're developing a guy and getting to see something. Whereas Stone, it's the exact opposite. If all things are equal, then just let Gavin Stone not get destroyed at the major league level and let Syndergaard kind of wear that. Let me ask you one other interesting one, because I'm guessing it'll come in the comments. Andre Jackson, is he a better option for the rotation right now than Noah Syndergaard?
We're getting pretty low on the depth chart here. I'll call them even. I mean, wow. It's hard to put one below the other. I'll call them even.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm not saying you're wrong. We talked. I mean, Andre Jackson, it sounds like the organization thinks his best role is in a reliever, so I'm not sure they would even want to start him. And again, part of this is there are certain times where major league teams need a guy to wear it. They need to give the rest. They need to give a break. They need just every 5 days somebody to even if it's a struggle, even if you're putting yourself way behind the 8 ball, to just go give me 5 or 6 innings so the bullpen can reset. And even if that means, giving up 9 hits and 6 earned runs or whatever it is. So it feels like they're in that spot with Syndergaard. And honestly, again, it's so easy as fans to just say, cut the guy. But unless you do the work and actually tell me, who are you putting in the rotation? And I'm open to it, right? Like I just said, I trust Michael Grove more than him. I actually don't trust Gavin Stone. Like, Gavin Stone has been worse than Noah Syndergaard. The numbers back that up. And so, like, I would trust Syndergaard more, and I would say it's better for Stone to be down. I agree with you on that. Andre Jackson, I think, is like the comp. If you want to just take the name off of Noah Syndergaard, the mystique of 2016 off of Noah Syndergaard, I think you're looking at a guy who's on par with Andre Jackson. But again, you're already paying him. He's already up there. And unlike Jackson, Syndergaard can at least get you 5 to 6 innings every single time if you want to just let him wear it. So that's sort of the situation they're in. Now, again, fast forward 2 months. If Urias is back healthy, if Bobby Miller continues to pitch well, if Ryan Pepio is available, if Grove has been okay, then we're talking about a scenario where you can put him on the IL for a month. You can DFA him if it's just it's better for everyone for him not to be here and not to be a distraction. You can try him in the bullpen. If the velocity and spin are both terrible, I'm not sure the bullpen is a great option. He's not striking anybody out. Maybe if it's 1 inning, he can get up to 94.
Pop up duty.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But let us know in the comments below. I'm so curious. I know fans are out on Syndergaard. My question to you as you go to the comments after this video is what's the better option? Give me your 5-man rotation. Give me who's 6th on the depth chart as well in the event of yet another injury or some more struggles. Please leave that in the comments below. While you're down there, please subscribe, ring the notification bell. We'd greatly appreciate it. One last announcement. We are doing another live watch party on Playback. We try to do these Tuesdays and Fridays when there's 7 p.m. games. This Friday is going to be a great one. Dodgers Yankees at Dodger Stadium. So head over at 7 o'clock, playback.tv/DodgerBlue1958. I will be there. I believe AJ Gonzalez will be joining me for the live watch along and a post game here as well. So please join us for that. We appreciate you as always. That's Daniel Starkand. My name is Jeff Spiegel. And of course, go Dodgers.